So,
So well, backtrack. I got married in 2010, and then I was 21, so I wasn't planning on like getting married or anything like, I mean, having kids or anything like that. And so I ended up getting pregnant, but I actually miscarried. And so then I found myself on this 3.5 year infertility journey.
mm,
Um, and one thing that I encourage people is to be very careful, like the Bible says, of watching what you speak.
yeah.
Because I was telling people, oh no, I'm not gonna have kids for 3.5 years, but that's because I was like, I want to enjoy my husband and all the things. But then now I'm trying to have a baby and it wasn't working. And it's like you planted that seed. But so during infertility, I was originally grew up saying, like, hearing you don't question God, he's in control of all things, which he is. And so I was really frustrated because I served God my whole life. I did it the quote unquote right way, but my body was rejecting me. I couldn't have a child. And so I was like, I have to find a way to like question God without questioning God. And so I
Hmm.
started journaling to God and just like being brutally honest with God and just telling him how I felt like rejected and how he hated me and just all these things. And about 2 weeks in, about a month into journaling and just venting out all of my emotions, I got the unction to write GS. And I was like, okay. And I just kept writing and kept writing. And I kept doing that every day because I would come home from work depressed and just like I was on hormones and trying to do, infertility treatments and all that. And then about 2 weeks after kept writing GS, I felt this unction to go back and read it. And I went back and read it and I was like, oh my gosh, God is responding to me. Like he's really talking back to me. And so for a long time, that was just something between me and God. I would just journal and ask him very specific questions and he would respond. And I was like, God, why am I going through, like, I've been going through infertility for 3 years. Why have you been ignoring me? And he was just like, I haven't been ignoring you at all, but you haven't been praying. Cause I was like, I've been praying and crying. And he was like, you weren't praying at all. You were just venting the whole time. You were just venting. And I was like, I was offended because I was like, how was I venting? Like, I'm crying, I'm doing all the things. And he's like, destiny to be in prayer is to be in conversation with me. You're coming to the one with all the answers and you're leaving with no answers. How does that work? That's not the type of God that I am. You have to learn how to vent, and that's okay, but you have to be still and allow me to respond, allow me to speak, allow me to heal you. And so the Lord kept saying, me having children was bigger than me. It was bigger than just the selfish desire I had to have children, but He was calling me to be different in parenthood. And I had to go through healing first. And so He took me through this inner healing process through journaling, it's now called Prayerapy. And that process is actually where he showed me the little version of myself that wasn't healed, that was dealing with rejection, abandonment, and loss of identity. And so he kept saying, in order for you to have a child, you have to find your identity. And I was like, God, what does this mean? Long story short, I ended up finding out at 24 while I was battling infertility that who I thought my father wasn't. And that is what he meant by how you have to find your true identity. And so literally right after I found out who my biological father was, well, found out about this man that I didn't know about, and we took a test and I found out he was my biological father. About 3 months later, I actually was pregnant. And so using that same process, um, in 2017, because I started using it every day for like, how to go to work and have a good day, how to deal with people, like really talking to God and like allowing him to instruct me. Because in one time in prayer, he said, Destiny, sorry, he said, Destiny, I'm so heartbroken. And I was like, I mean, God, looking at the world, you obviously have a reason why, but enlighten me. And he was like, not those that don't call me not those that don't call me their father, but for those that call me their father, they treat me like a deadbeat dad. And I was like,
Mm,
what do you mean by that? And he was like, because a good father produces the fruit and he leaves a blueprint for them to obtain the expectation or reach the expectation. And if you say I have a purpose and a plan for your life, that's an expectation. And I
mm,
but for a deadbeat father, he produces a fruit and leaves it up to them to figure it out on their own. And he said, and my children are out here not seeking me for what to do with their lives, how to live it, they're actually like doing what they want to do and want me to rubber stamp it.
Mm.
Like, so it can't be that easy, like just seeking you every day. And he's like, yeah, the word says, seek ye first the kingdom and all will be added unto it. So I was like, okay, God. So I literally started seeking him every day. And he was like, if you seek me daily, your 365 will be better than any of your years prior. And I literally was seeking him. And October of 2017, he called me out of corporate America using that process. And I was like, God, is this really you? Like, we got a lot of debt from infertility. Like, I just have to know that I know that I know that I know that this is you. And he was like, I'm calling you into your purpose. But before that, I kept crying out to God, saying, God, what is my purpose? I know you called me to do more than this. But after every time I would pray that, I would always be tested with people pleasing. And I was like, does he not hear my prayer? Like, why does he keep testing me to stand up to people? And once I finally passed the test, he was like, the reason why I kept doing that is because where I'm calling you, if you fold to people, you'll never be able to be all I'm calling you to be. And so he led me on my corporate job. I kept saying, well, what am I going to do? Do you want me to apply for new jobs? He's like, no, you have to quit first and then I'll give you the next step. And so I quit October. Well, my actual last day in the system was October 21st of 2017. And I quit and he was like, okay, now I want you to write your first book about your infertility journey and trusting me. And I want you to go live on Facebook and pray for people. And I was like, pray for people? You want me to pray for people at 10 o'clock at night? And I was working 8 to 4:30. Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. I could have still worked. And he was like, just trust me, just trust me. So 2 weeks I fought him because I was like, this sounds crazy. Like, I was making really good money. I was 20 some years old. Like, I was living a really decent life. God, I mean, I didn't like my job, but it was okay, you know? And I was like, you know what? He kept saying, how could you make one of the biggest leaps of your life, but fight me here at a small step? And I was like, you know what? You're right. I don't have a job, so let me just trust you and go forth. And I went live, and I said, guys, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know what I'm here for, but God told me to go live and ask people if they want prayer. So is there anyone who wants prayer? And people started putting their prayer requests in the line or in the comments, and literally it kind of blew up before my eyes because I don't know what I thought it was going to be, but I would literally just it was prophetic prayer. And so people started DMing me and they're like, oh my gosh, you literally read my journal, like how did you know that? And I had this one girl, she kept coming every night bringing like family members, friends, and she was like, I need you to teach me how you hear from God. And I was like, I don't know how to teach you. Like, I started with this journaling and now I am confident in his voice and I just repeat what I hear. And she's like, no, you need to teach us. You got to teach us this. And I said, I don't know how to teach you. I said, you know what? I'm out here on God. So let me go to God and see if he tells me what to do. And I went in prayer and I was like, God, what is this? And he was like, this is where your purpose is. I want you to teach my children how to hear from me for themselves. And I was like, using how? And he was like, use what I gave you. And at the time, it wasn't a template or anything. It was just, I knew, the process. And so he told me to write down the steps step by step and start teaching. And that was my first class. And it was and that one young lady brought 10 of her friends. And so my first class had 11 women. And maybe about a year after that, we coined the prayerist. So that's what I go as, the prayerist, because I was going as like a prayer and discernment coach, just teaching people how to hear the voice of God through prayer. But yeah, that's my story. And it's grown into quite a bit.
This is, oh my God. Hey, April 8, 9, 10. This lady is going to be live. And I'm telling you guys, this is not even, this is just like telling us generally who she is. She's going to be helping somebody. I see myself being helped those days. So you want to be helped? Stay tuned, because this is going to be fire. Thank you so much. Thank you so. Every time I see that crown on your head, I'm like, this is a queen right there. This is a princess, this is a queen, this is a lady that knows who she is. She's wanting to know who you are. I'm serious. Is wanting to know who you are. And that is the best part. So thank you so much again for honoring our call. And I just want to say to everyone that's going to be part of April 8, 9, and 10, look out for our coach Destiny. She has so much and she's going to help you. Thank you.